Good morning, Texas. This is Alan Stewart. Looks like Michael, who is our host, is having some mic issues. So I'm just going to jump in and help him out as we're going along. We just wanted to welcome you all to this Texas State meeting today. We have a very distinguished guest today, Wendy Forsythe, which is our Chief Marketing Officer. She has joined us just recently. And let me turn around to see the slides. And we'll take it from there.
Good morning. Did you want me to just jump right in?
Yes, if you could, and jump right in, and we'll just start right out with you and introduce yourself. And if you can come up on the stage, we'll get this show on the road.
Well, now you're really challenging me. Let me see.
All right, you newbie to the world.
This is all fun stuff.
Yep.
All right, there we go. I'm here. There you are.
Yes. Hey, Wendy, good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Why don't we start out by introducing yourself and letting us all know your background and what you plan on doing with your job here with EXP and helping all our agents out. We got some changes coming up this summer that everybody's curious about. So take it away. Yeah. Welcome and thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'm happy to answer any questions along the way. So as I'm chatting, if you guys want to hop anything in chat, happy to address anything. But let me start with an introduction. So my name is Wendy Forsythe. I joined EXP last month in April. It, in fact, is almost a full month later this week that I'll be here with all of you. So it has been a fast and furious 30 days in my life. Little bit of background on me. I've been in the real estate industry my entire professional career. I actually started selling as an agent. So I was an agent. Then I moved into being a manager at a real estate office. And then I was one of those crazy people that actually thought I want to be a broker owner and owned and operated my own brokerage for a number of years. When I had the opportunity to sell my brokerage, I also had the opportunity to work in a corporate role at one of the largest real estate companies in the Canadian market. So that was how I sort of first went from, sales, from the direct sales side of the business of being an agent and a broker owner into, more of a corporate leadership role. From there, I moved from Canada, which is where I started my career and where I'm from, down here to the US, initially to New Jersey. I was recruited into a role with then Realogy, to launch the Better Homes and Gardens real estate brand. So I was employee number 2 at that brand when we brought that brand back to the market under the Realogy umbrella. So this timestamp for all of you was 2007, 2008 when we launched that brand. Worked for that brand, growing that business and that brand for a number of years, and then had an opportunity to move to Southern California, which is where I live today. I live in the Orange County area. And took over operating a large independent brokerage here in the market and grew that to a national brand. And then made a couple other stops over the last decade as the Chief Operating Officer for HomeSmart International, Chief Strategy Officer for Fathom Realty, and was involved in taking that company public. And then most recently, president for Compass in California, Hawaii, and Nevada. So my EXP story actually began about 15 years ago when Glenn and I met at industry events. And back at that time, there were a lot of industry events around social marketing and technology and digital media and how all of those elements were, starting to become part of our day-to-day in the industry. So built a friendship with Glenn, and earlier this year, he called me up. The story, as I've told on social media, is it was a Wednesday night. It was about like a little after 8 o'clock here in California, and my phone rings and it's Glenn Sanford. And it was raining, and it was like one of those nights where I was probably like curled up with a blanket, like watching TV with my husband and my dogs. And I was like, I probably should answer the phone if Glenn Sanford is calling me. And that conversation led to a whole lot of other conversations. And here we are. I'm thrilled to be part of the EXP team and part of this amazing community that you have all built, and super excited about the initiative that we're launching upon of EXP 2.0. So Alan, that's a bit of an intro. Do you want me to hop into kind of what we're working on, or any questions?
Yeah, we're open, guys. We're open to any questions. So if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat. We'll get to them. And but no, what I think everybody's really interested in what you're working on and what we can expect as far as your role with EXP. And I'm sure we got some plans and some great stuff that's coming down the pike that's going to help all of us agents really kickstart our business going into the latter half of this year.
Absolutely. Well, we're certainly working on it. And, when I think of this moment that we're in the industry, it is, it is a unique moment in time, right? And there's a saying that resonates with me that, change happens slowly and all at once at the same time. And I think that, accurately describes kind of where we're at, where, there are so many changes that came upon us like rather quickly when we think of the NAR settlement, interest rate changes, economic concerns, the speed of the market, consumer sentiment around home ownership and buying. And now we have to navigate through that sort of market. So it really is a time where I think of, the need for a higher level of expertise from all of us as real estate entrepreneurs. It's that time where I love to use acronyms because, of course, we love acronyms in real estate and especially in marketing. So I think of it as like, how do we really portray to our consumers, our clients, our sphere of influence, that we are, real estate MBAs. So when I think of sort of academia, an MBA is like a master's, right? Like I have a master's degree in whatever field. That's what we all need to have in our real estate field right now. We need to be masters of real estate. And when I break that down, it ties in directly to everything that we do at the brand level here at EXP to support all of you, all of our agents, all of our employees, is through that lens of how does this help us as a company really be those MBAs out in the market. So to break that down, we're thinking a lot about the market itself. So that's the M in the MBA. So what's happening out in the market? How do we make sure that like we're supporting all of you with, market data, market intelligence, consumer sentiment, so that you can position yourself as an agent in your local market, and really encouraging all of you to be those local market experts. That's what consumers really want to know. Is they hear a lot of noise about sort of the macro market, but what they care about is what's happening in the community that I live in, or what's happening in the community where I want to buy. And that's where your expertise, really, really shines. So that, like, knowing the market, market intelligence. I always say my favorite real estate question is, how's the market? Like, how you answer that question is, so key to really striking up the conversation and then finding the opportunities in the curiosity that people have about the real estate market. So that's the M. The B in MBA is all about building our brand. So real estate is unique where, you have the EXP brand, which is sort of the umbrella brand for all of your personal brands. And we want to build both, right? We want to help you build your personal brand because that's what's important in the local market. People work with people they like, know, and trust. So how do you leverage all the EXP tools and services and technology and marketing to build your local brand? So all of our different initiatives that we have on the go are always tied back to how does this help our agents build their local brands? Um, so, most recently in my first sort of week with all of you, we launched Revenue Share 2.0, and that's very much in alignment with EXP 2.0, is that sort of next chapter of writing our brand story. What's amazing about what you've all accomplished as part of EXP over the last 14 years is you are the number one real estate brokerage in the country by transaction count. No other real estate brokerage sells more homes, puts more family in homes than all of you do here at EXP. That is something to be celebrated, and it's something to really incorporate into your local brands and building your individual and personal brands. So really, embrace the power of that. And it's such a great time as we move into a summer market where traditionally in a lot of our markets, we see some seasonality in the summer. It's that great time to go back to, am I utilizing all of the tools that are available to me here at EXP? What I have found over the last month is lots of people are asking me questions and making suggestions about things that we need. So I hear these questions and suggestions, and then I go find as I'm learning about our entire tool set, and I find out that, oh, well, we have that tool, or we have that in the marketing center, or we have that partnership, or we have that listing presentation, or whatever it is. So it's a great time to really invest in spending a little time, learning and relearning some of the great tools that we have and how you can incorporate them into your business. We just launched our Elevate coaching program. We have so many great things going on in EXP University. So I challenge you to go check those out as you think about, it's the middle of the year. Where am I at year to date? What is my plan? What is my strategy for going into the second half of the year? And where do I need to, invest to hit my business goals? So we got M for market, we got B for brand, and then my A in MBA is action. It is really like all about getting into action out in our local markets, working our sphere of influence, working in our CRM every single day, making sure that we're having that prospecting time, making sure that we're building those relationships, making sure that we are proactively adding new contacts to our CRM and leaning into our marketing and all the things that we do. So that is sort of my MBA focus, and that is how we are looking at continuing to support all of you as we move into the summer and then into the latter part of the year. I'll end with just a couple, additional things that to get on all of your radar. We have EXPCon in Miami coming up in October. So this is a great opportunity for all of us to be face-to-face in the real world. We have a lot of great things planned for there. So check that out. You'll start to see more promotions around that. We've got some amazing speakers lined up to be there. So really excited about that. We also are launching our Women's Impact Network over the summer. So this is a new affiliate network that has kind of been beta launched. Some of you may be aware of it, but we're continuing to invest in that initiative of developing a community to, sponsor and support women leadership in our company. So very excited about that. And we have, lots of other things on the go. So I'm talking way more than I normally do on these things. So I'm going to wrap it up and just ask if there's any questions. You guys are making this so easy on me.
Yeah, I have a question. So in Texas, we've always had our buyer representation agreements. I know they're changing them up a little bit because of the on the state level and on the Texas realtor level. But we've always had it, but agents it's a form that never had to be signed until this settlement. So I know a lot of agents are kind of nervous. They've never really had to present that form, discuss that form. So in your experience with representing buyers, how best would they be able to go out and present this form in such a way that the buyers are going to feel comfortable with it? And can you speak on that one-time buyer rep agreement that we have, the single showing, that how that is designed to help agents get over that hurdle of getting their foot in the door with buyers?
Yeah. I think that the analogy to me that resonates most in terms of how to approach this is think about working with your buyers the same way you do working with your sellers, right? When we meet a new seller who expresses interest in selling, we set up a listing appointment. We do our research on the market. We put together our listing presentation for them. We meet them typically face to face, and we find out what are their motivations, what are their expectations, what are their dreams, what are they looking to do next, like what are their concerns. And I call that the med C. So we med C them. So motivation, expectations, dreams, and concerns. And then we talk to them about how we can help them and answer their questions. And ultimately, like that leads to, signing a listing agreement and them hiring us to represent them in the sale of their home. It's the exact same parallel now with dealing with buyers. That when a buyer reaches out and expresses interest in a property, whether it's just I have questions or whether it's a like request for showing, like we need to go through that same workflow that we do for sellers. We need to qualify them. We should set up a face-to-face meeting. We should find out what their motivations, expectations, dreams, concerns are. We should have a buyer's presentation ready that demonstrates to them the value we offer and why they should hire us for the job. And then if we do that, that naturally leads to the signing of any agreements, just the way it does when we're working with sellers on the listing side of things. So that's how I recommend you approach it. And the question I often get is, yeah, but what if the buyer doesn't want to do that? What if they don't want to, meet with me? What if they just want to see the house? And this is we can debate this. I would say that if they're not willing to meet with you, if they just want to see the house, they're probably not a really qualified buyer. So you want to still go through the process of setting up the buyer consultation or the buyer appointment. And then it's up to you to decide if they're not willing to do that, then you can decide for your own business, what steps you want to take next. And that's where the, single showing, one page sort of buyer representation agreement would come into things that keeps you then compliant, with the new rules that it's changed. But those are my thoughts. Alan, any follow-up questions, comments? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay, let me hop over here to the chat. I see some things.
Yes, I didn't turn on my microphone,
Got it. Okay.
but Jose wondering how best to, I guess, maybe prioritize, or because we have so much at our fingertips, it can be overwhelming, and maybe you can address that.
Yeah, Jose, I'm right there with you. So 1 month in, and it is overwhelming at how much we have. We have such an amazing value proposition, but to your point, it can be really tough to figure out okay, well, what do I do first? And it's one of the things that I'm challenging the team with is how do we make this easier for agents to figure out what tools we have, what fits into their business, what to do, today. So my immediate recommendation on that is, go back to your own personal business plan. So one of the things that we always look at when we're sort of building a business plan, and I'm putting my real estate coaching hat on here, is, where does my business come from? So for all of you, if you know your sources of business, and typically, you'll see that agents will have sort of four main sources of business. So the first one is almost always, repeat business and referral business. And then like the follow-up ones will really depend on you. It could be open houses, it could be online leads, it could be a direct mail, it could be, farming, it could be, events, like whatever it is. Look back at your last year's transactions if you don't know your top four or your core four, and then align where you need to invest time and energy in those core four sources of business. So if, you want to get more business from your database and from your CRM, then you might want to go over to university and make sure that you are like up to speed on how to best use KV Core. If you have been, not paying enough attention to your KV Core, and wondering why your repeat referral business is, not at the level you want, then that will lead you, those breadcrumbs will lead you, along the way there. If you aren't sure of like how to communicate to your network, and you're looking for more sort of marketing ideas of how do I get my name in front of the people in my database, then you want to, check out some of the courses in university that are on, marketing and social media and brand building, and look at like some of those things. So always go back to your core four. Where's my business coming from? And then what tools are available to help me build my business in those main areas that I meet buyers and sellers through.
And I'm so glad you touched on KV Core. I can't preach enough about it. I know there's people out there that says there's better ones, but we all know the best CRM is the one that you're going to use.
Yes.
And use it. We have so many great agents that are in either workplace that do tutorials on YouTube. Your brokers can help you out with KV Core. But to me, to answer that question is that, focus on what's going to make you money and make money the quickest, and kind of put everything else to the side. It's not to say that all that other offering that we have with EXP is not important, but it's something that you can get to at when you need it, and just learn where it is, but focus on making money now. I did a podcast with Tony Reyes in San Antonio, and we were talking about when we first got into the business, and it came up, and I was like, Tony, so how long were you in the business before you did your first open house? And he said, Alan, I got licensed. I was on with EXP on a Thursday, and I did my first two open houses that following weekend. So everybody just everything will come to you, but just get out there and start doing it. Focus on what's going to make you money, and
Yes.
start doing it.
And that's the action, right? Like that goes back to my MBA analogy is take action.
Yep. Because I've been doing this 30 years and I still don't know everything. And you don't need to know everything to make a very good living in real estate, especially with the tools that EXP has.
Yes, exactly. And you can't do everything all at once. Going back to sort of business planning, I'm a big believer in 90-day planning cycles. It's like, what do I really want to focus on for the next 90 days?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we follow through kind of the talk track that we've been on, if it's, really making sure that I am working my sphere of influence, and that my database is in order, and that I have the system set up to stay in touch and build those relationships with my database, then, that's my 90-day focus. So I want to work on like building that skill set over the next 90 days in my business. The next 90 days, I might take another source of business and say, okay, this next 90 days, I'm focusing on social media, because I know I've got to up my social media game to support my database and my CRM, and another way to get sort of top of mind. So I might look at like, what do I invest? How do I build out my plan, my tactics, my strategy, around building my social presence and building my brand on social. So, trying to do both of those things at the same time probably means that you really don't accomplish, mastering either of them. But like really looking at 90-day cycles can be a very effective way to create focus and create momentum in your business.
Set a goal, accomplish that goal, set new goals.
Yes. Alan, I see we got a couple questions from
Sure.
Diane and Dee Dee on the one pager. Those are more sort of local broker questions, so I'm gonna let you take those.
Yes. So your single showing forms, they are in SkySlope Forms under EXP Texas Library. And yes, once you'll fill them out, we don't need to. You can use them now by all means, but they're going to be the forms. It's going to be very important once we start dealing with the settlement rules and regulations that are probably not coming out until August. By the time everybody gets their act together, gets their forms together, so I think they're looking to start that. Definitely go get used to it. Read it, understand it, bring it to your Texas brokers, managing brokers. If you have any questions, we'll probably be setting up some training on that to really get yourself comfortable. So whenever I'm doing showings or doing buyer rep or buyer meetings, it's one thing that I learned early on is you need to know the forms, know them backwards and forwards. And what I mean backwards is I always set the meetings, whether buyers or sellers, I'd always meet and have at their houses, sit them at no matter how many I had to deal with, 1, 2, 3, or whoever was involved in this transaction, sit them at the dining room table, at the kitchen table. So they're in front of you and you're behind them. And I always tell agents, be able to do that form upside down, go through it, read it, all the know everything, answer every question. So with this buyer rep change where we have to get this signed is we're going to have to know these forms inside out with the buyers. And what I've been telling a lot of teams and single agents is get with your teams, get with other agents, and start role playing the objections. And we all know the objections that buyers are going to come up with. Right now, it's typically 11B of our buyer rep agreement on who's going to pay us. So role play those objections. Lean on your brokers, and we're here to help you get through all this, learn it. One thing that's great that I've been telling a lot of new to the industry agents, back in 92 when I first got licensed in New York, buyer rep agreement or buyer representation was brand new. So it really hadn't even started. We really didn't even have the forms yet. Everybody that my seniors in the industry were still doing sub agency. So what I call this back then, they had to learn a whole new way of doing business, like I was learning to do business for the first time. So it is a leveling of the field. Everybody is going to be starting new this summer. So as new agents, grasp it, run with it. You're not carrying any baggage from years gone by and how we used to do it. It's going to be a whole new world. Take it, embrace it, and you'll excel.
Yes. Love it.
Any other questions? Heather Gill.
Do we have a location where Leo Perez recording was from last Thursday's report out?
Yeah, we do. It's on our YouTube channel. So if you just head over to YouTube, just search eXp Realty and find our YouTube channel there, and you'll find that recording of the video there. And while you're there, subscribe to our channel.
Yes, that's a goal. Everybody here today, please go out, subscribe to the EXP channel, and subscribe to the Texas EXP channel. Let's get our numbers up on that. And if you haven't been to the EXP YouTube channel, there is so much great stuff on it. That's where I first got to hear Wendy when she was on with Michael Valdez. Go check out Michael's stuff and all the information and all the videos that are on that EXP YouTube channel. It's such a great way to really stay ahead and stay informed on what EXP is doing, what we're planning on doing, and what's coming down the pike, and really to hear from our leadership on what they're doing with these changing times. And it really, when you listen to what they're doing and what they're planning, what they're anticipating, it really takes a lot of the worry out of what we're facing as agents. So definitely check out the EXP YouTube channel and the Texas channel. Yes, Heather, the 12-week year is a great approach to I'm a big fan of the 12-week year.
Yeah, great book. If any of you are looking for a book, pick that one up. It's a great one.
Yep. And it's also it's available from Audible. And even on Audible, you can get all the downloads and all the charts and forms and everything also by doing that. So let me see here. Is there any other questions? Did we miss? Yes, leveraging your TCs. At first with TCs, I was never a big fan until, it's when you get busy, are you really need to be focusing on doing the admin work? Look to see what you're doing. And I'll put it this way. What I tell a lot of agents now going into this change coming up is that we need to know what our cost of business is, what our cost of doing business is. So we need to sit down with a calculator and a blank piece of paper and figure out what it costs us to swing our legs out of the bed in the morning and start doing business. So there's going to be negotiating coming up that we've never had to deal with before. But we have to negotiate from a position of strength, and that comes from knowing what our costs are, what it costs us to take a buyer around, what it costs us to list a home, and just basically just any business. And we all have to just realize and embrace that every single one of you out there, we're all our own little individual business, and there's not a successful business out there that doesn't exactly know what their cost of doing business is. So get it down pat, and that way you can have those conversations with buyers and or sellers on if they're negotiating and trying to get you to reduce your commission or your fees, or however you're structuring the deal. So definitely get to know what your cost of doing business is. Wendy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
No, I don't see any other questions coming. Do you want to say anything in closing?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me here. It is great to virtually meet all of you. I would encourage you to connect with me online. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is @brandwendy. So very much in line with the brand building, and connect with me on Workplace. Please share feedback, thoughts, ideas. We want to know sort of what you need, how we can help, what's working, what's not working. So it's super helpful for me, especially stepping into the role and realigning all of our priorities and building out EXP 2.0. To hear back directly from all of you. I always think with my agent hat on first. So, that is how we approach all the things that we do from a marketing perspective to support all of you. So please reach out anytime if we can help and provide feedback. And Alan, thank you so much for reaching out and inviting me here today.
It was such a pleasure, and welcome to EXP, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll have to come back and give you all my 90-day update of
Yes.
what have I learned 90 days later.
You shouldn't have said that because we're probably already booking that. So.
All right. Sounds good. Okay,
right.
everyone, enjoy the rest of your day and have a wonderful week.
All righty. Thank you so much for doing this, Wendy. You have
You're
a great day.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye now.